So far, we've painted a pretty rosy picture of Genghis Khan and the Mongols. They were smart, they were meritocratic, they were tolerant, and they were well governed. But as we all know, history is rarely that simple. Take, for example, the following quote from Genghis Khan.
The greatest joy for a man is to defeat his enemies, to drive them before him, to take from them all they possess, to see those they love in tears, to ride their horses, and to hold their wives and daughters in his arms.
Does this statement fit with the picture of an enlightened, tolerant leader? Can someone hold these opinions whilst also being a good leader? As the conquest of the Jurchen was happening in the east, Genghis Khan sent a 450-man caravan to the west. He wanted to open up trade and diplomatic ties with the strong Middle Eastern empire of Khwarezmia, which could be found in modern-day Iran, Afghanistan, and Turkmenistan. The Khwarezmian Empire was ruled by a Shah, or emperor, but the province bordering the Mongol Empire was governed by a man named Inulchuk. Inulchuk claimed that the members of the caravan were spies. He confiscated all of the caravan's riches, executed all but one of the members, and sent the remaining man back to Genghis Khan. Genghis recognised that this was an insult, but was tied down with a difficult campaign against the Jurchen. To defuse the situation, he sent 3 ambassadors to the Khwarezmian Shah, offering friendship and asking the Shah to punish Inulchuk as a sign of goodwill.
I am the master of the lands of the rising sun, while you rule those of the setting sun. Let us conclude a firm treaty of friendship and peace.
The Shah refused, and not only did he leave Inulchuk unpunished for the insult, but he added his own insult. He beheaded one of the ambassadors and humiliated the others by having them beaten and shaving their heads. He then sent them back with an insulting message to Genghis Khan. Harming and humiliating ambassadors was bad enough, but deliberately killing a representative was a direct challenge to what the Shah thought were just more undisciplined and unruly nomadic barbarians. He had no idea just how disciplined and powerful his new neighbour had become. Genghis was enraged and vowed to destroy the Khwarezmian Empire. He quickly tied up his eastern campaign and began to prepare. He sent out spies and amassed a massive force, including the new siege engineers that they had integrated from Tangut and Jurchen, China. He asked the Tanguts to send their forces, but they refused. He assigned the armies he did have to his best generals, including Jebei, the arrow, Subutai, the son of a blacksmith, and Genghis's sons, Jochi, Chagatai, Ogedei, and Tului. In 1219, Genghis launched his invasion of the Khwarezmian Empire. It was a campaign of breathtaking speed and extreme brutality. As the Mongols advanced, they gave cities a choice: either submit to the Mongols or be utterly destroyed. Cities that submitted were completely subject to the whims of the Mongols, and this was no guarantee of mercy. Often the educated and artisans were sent back to Mongolia, while the rest were either enslaved or drafted into the Mongol horde. But this was usually preferable to the alternative. If a city chose to hold out, it would be surrounded. The Mongols would then work on any number of tactics to get inside the walls. Sometimes a direct assault was best. The Mongols would minimise their own casualties by driving captured prisoners in front of them as human shields. Some accounts talk of prisoners' bodies filling moats and helping the Mongols cross. Other times, the Mongols would use their new siege technology. Trebuchets would hurl large stones at walls, or, if no stones were available, they would hurl logs and even bodies. Gunpowder was used too, as explosives to bring down walls or as propellant for the new cannon technology. The Mongols even used rudimentary grenades, which terrified defenders. Once inside, the Mongols had a unique method of killing the inhabitants. The commanders would set a quota for each soldier, and they would have to kill the required number of people. To prove their body count, Mongol soldiers would have to provide an ear from each victim. At the city of Urgench, which was one of the biggest cities in the world at the time, 5 tumens of Mongols were given a quota of 24 people each, which was reportedly met. How many people does this mean the Mongols killed at the sack of Urgench? The Mongols would ensure that all inhabitants were killed by riding away and returning a few days later. Any people that survived the initial assault were killed in the second. At Nishapur, one of Genghis Khan's family was killed. To get revenge, the Mongols killed every living thing in the city, including cats and dogs. They created pyramids of human heads so high that years later, when travellers rode past, they thought the piles of skulls were hills until they got close. The Mongols cornered the governor Inulchuk at Bukhara. To punish him for his greed, they melted down silver and poured it in his eyes, ears, and down his throat. In the end, millions of Khwarezmians were killed. The Shah managed to escape, so Genghis sent Subutai and Jebei to hunt him down with a tumen each. The brutality shown to the Khwarezmians was not unique. To punish the Tanguts for not sending troops, Genghis reinvaded and wiped the whole Tangut Empire off the map. Despite being a large and well-established empire, very little is known of the Tanguts. Few documents, tombs, or architectural evidence remains. This is likely due to the thorough destruction by the Mongols. In Korea, the Mongols boiled prisoners and used the rendered fat to make flammable bombs. In India, a later Mongol leader, Tamerlane, built a pyramid of 90,000 heads. He did this just to convince the city of Delhi to surrender. In the Crimea, the Mongols catapulted plague-infected bodies over the city walls. It was the first recorded case of biological warfare. Many years later, a Mongol leader named Hulagu destroyed Baghdad, which was the biggest, richest, and most advanced city in the world. It was a centre of learning, and the Mongols threw thousands of ancient books into the Tigris. So many books were thrown in that river that it was said to have run black with ink. Just destroying Baghdad was not enough for Hulagu though. Iraq had thousands of miles of ancient canals and irrigation channels, and he ordered them filled in. So many people were killed and the country so decimated that it has been estimated that the region didn't recover until the 1950s, 700 years later. Overall, the Mongol expansion has been estimated to have cost 40 million lives. So whilst it's easy to focus on the positives of Mongol rule, we must always try to measure that against the negatives. Whether the Mongol expansion was a good thing or a bad thing has been hotly contested over the years, and debates continue to this day. As always, if you have an opinion and can make a strong case for why you are correct, then you are in the same boat as professional historians. What events led to the invasion of Khwarezmia? Which trusted general was the son of a blacksmith? How did the Mongols ensure cities quickly surrendered? How did the Mongols minimize their own casualties? How would Mongol soldiers prove their killing quota? What 5 adjectives or phrases best describe Genghis Khan?